To your point, though, is you talk about the training. What does training lead to? Training leads to confidence.
Yes.
Right. And so to your point is what are you doing to build that confidence to say, hey, I can make a legitimate impact in whatever scenario you can paint right now, right? Are you physically fit, right? Are you physically capable of helping other people? Because not everybody is.
That's right.
I mean, think about if you're not in the greatest shape, are you able to walk up 30 flights of stairs to help people?
Right.
No.
Hello.
Hey. Here you go. Just waiting on you, bro. You set?
Remember that discussion we had a few weeks ago about punching your best friend in the face?
Got a lot of feedback.
Got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
So I did a poll on our Instagram page.
They agreed with me, didn't they?
We have got some absolute savages that listen to
Yes,
this
we
podcast.
do. Yes, we do. It's a good thing.
I said, have you ever punched your best friend? It was a poll. It was either yes or no. What percentage of people have punched their best friend that responded to this poll?
I'd say at least
These are our listeners, by the way. Keep in mind. These are the savages that are listening to this podcast.
It got to
say
be over
60%.
60. Yeah, at least 60.
Have punched their friend in the
Yes.
face? You think 60% of people have punched their best friend in the face?
Yeah, I would say at least 50
Where the hell are you from?
60% of people. Yeah.
I feel like
That's the norm, isn't it?
if your friend,
It's more apparent now than ever that we grew up completely differently.
if
even
you
as a
went
kid?
to high school or college with a best friend, the chances I think are 60%
No,
that
I
you
think
got in
it's
a fight.
even younger. Like it's even younger than that. It's like
that's true.
like
I'm talking about at an age where you are understanding.
Did you put those collars on the survey?
No, but y'all are saying like as a 3-year-old, yeah, you punch your best friend as a
Like
3-year-old.
junior high on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I literally know 0 people that have punched their best friend in the face until I met you two. This is mind blowing to me.
you must be living in some kind
So
of
anyway,
convent.
The answer: 46% of our listeners have punched their best friend in the face. 46%. That's shocking to me.
Yeah. That's not shocking.
That's what I said. I literally know nobody that's punched.
We did not put our answers in that poll, so it would be about 60%.
Yeah, exactly. If we would have. Yeah.
Not only did 46% say that, we also had a listener DM us, send us a message on Instagram. And he said, as a response to this, he threatened me with a utility knife in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Well, that's taking it to the next level now.
That's who's listening to this podcast.
And I'm saying, hey, I'm saying that was probably over cornbread.
Yeah.
We need to rethink our messaging here.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone got shanked over some corn.
We have people who literally have been shanked by their best friend in prison listening to this podcast.
Oh, man.
Much respect to you, sir, or ma'am, whoever you are.
Yeah.
We got a broad audience.
Here's the thing, though.
Just don't piss anybody off.
Have you ever gotten in a fight with your brothers?
With my brothers, yeah.
Okay.
But no,
right.
never anybody else outside of my house.
So my question
You've never
to
gotten
you,
into a
Never
fight.
gotten
That's
in a
why. That's why you have that perspective. Ben,
this face has literally never been punched.
until after the show. Slap shit out.
so my point being,
Slapped, yes.
Mama punch.
Punch, no.
my point about
you to
asking if
sleep.
you've gotten in a
Don't
fight with your brother, which I've gotten in fights with my brothers,
Yeah.
fist fights with my brothers, is
Well, no, I've never punched my brothers either. Wrestling, taking them down that way.
again
I
very
have-
different lives, very different.
Other than like boxing, messing around, whatever, I have never punched somebody in the face.
Again, that's a
Even
collar.
your brothers?
Even my brothers.
Yeah.
This fist has never balled up and struck another human being, other than messing around boxing, things like that. Without a bare fist has never struck another human being.
Yeah.
That's who you're dealing with over here in the captain's chair.
Yeah, soft.
Next challenge.
Does that
no
make me
more of
soft?
these.
You are soft.
Does that make me soft?
Like soft.
Honestly,
With an FT on.
The real
Don't
strong
forget-
F.
yeah, the
Honestly,
F.
because
Soft.
I've never been in a fight, does that make me soft?
No, it doesn't make you soft, but it does. It does.
There is a perspective I'm missing.
Let me-
Some shit went down.
Yeah. So
are you
question:
gonna have our back?
Are you typically? Yeah.
Fuck that.
Hey, we all have those friends.
Are you questioning?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I know you can think of is when you were growing up, and we're in a different phase of life where that's not something that we really worry about. But in your younger years, you knew those friends that if it goes down, I need you by me. And then there's those other dudes that you're like, hey, I just probably won't call you a friend after this because I know when it goes down, you're not going to be there. And one of, look, I've got 2 best friends from home. And one of them is the guy that either will instigate it or 100% has my back, won't ask questions. He has my back and he's flying in from left field, taking care of it. Right. And then the other guy is the guy that is the hype man in the back with a cell phone and won't get involved ever. Yeah. And he's, I mean, he acknowledges it. He knows that that's his role. Yeah. But everybody has both friends.
He's not a friend. He's not considered a friend. Like in that type of situation, after it goes down, he's getting his ass kicked. Like we're going to drop.
You're punching your best friend in the face.
That's how your best friend gets punched in the face.
See, your friends must not have fought because you would have gotten punched in the face by your friends.
That's where I was about to go next. Yeah. Not only have I never punched somebody, I've never even been in a scenario where a fight broke out. So my question is, where are you hanging out where this happens?
Fresno. Like, hey, pick a location.
Parties. Number 1. Where else?
Parties. On the
games.
School, no, on the school grounds.
Yeah.
When
never.
Shit breaks.
I witnessed fights, but they weren't my boys that ever fought.
On the basketball court.
What about football? Did you not ever get into a fight on the football field?
I wouldn't count.
Yeah, but that you don't count that. You're wearing helmets. That's the weakest.
That's weak. Without pads.
I'm talking street fight.
Yeah, but I'm talking without pads. I've
Tyler,
for you, on the football field without pads. Blows thrown.
No, I've never.
I get it, but
you wouldn't count.
Yeah, I still wouldn't count.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm thinking
that's fair.
My mind
even got into a fight.
Right, my mind goes to either you're at a party, like for you, Tyler. I'm going to stereotype you. You were either at a party or at a bar, is where I'm imagining most of your fights went down.
No, two biggest fights were just literally driving.
Driving.
Road rage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a whole setup, and I mean, I can share the story on another show, but it was insane, absolutely insane. Yeah, it was bad.
I guess my whole point in saying that is I didn't go to parties and I didn't go to hang out at bars.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 biggest places I think of when I think of people getting in a fight, unless you're from the streets like you. Like I don't. I was never in scenarios where a fight was going down.
Like even in school, like you never had
those
situations.
In high school?
People did, not my best friends though. Like people I knew, but I wasn't gonna we weren't friends enough for me to jump in.
God, I remember. I've had scenarios when junior high and I can tell you a couple of them. Like I knew it went down before school happened, and I'm looking at the clock starting at 8:30 when I walked in my classroom, knowing lunchtime. Well, it may go down at lunchtime. Well, it didn't go down at lunchtime. 3 o'clock. I know my boys are going to be at the door because I knew I was fighting. Yeah. Like, it's going to.
I never was faced with that scenario, not once.
That is amazing.
Hey, you've never
you
lived
live in a damn bubble.
No,
you've never lived until you've gone through 8th grade math, knowing that you've got to fight after this class.
Your anxiety is there.
Not to paint on a broad brush, but it's not like I went to a private school either. Like I went to the majority of my middle school and high school was low income atmosphere. It wasn't, so there were fights happening all the time.
Did you see
it's
them?
just me. Oh, all the time. It's just me personally and the circle I hung with. We didn't get into fights. That's just not something we did.
I want to clarify too. I'm not advocating for fighting. I think it takes maturity. I think it takes maturity to avoid those and to say, hey, look, dude, I'm not gonna get wrapped up into this. But I was very immature for a long time in my life, and it wasn't something I ever shied away from.
I always saw it as an opportunity to get in trouble, and I would do anything to stay out of trouble. Like trouble, I hated it.
I was the same way. I didn't want to get in trouble, man. Yeah. But like
I was,
if there was a way to avoid it, I was going to avoid it at all costs.
I think there was a lot of times and a lot of moments where I wouldn't say it was peer pressure, but it was just the circumstances. Like in 98% of the time, it didn't involve me. It involved my buddy Keith or a couple of other buddies, and I just happened to be there. And it's like, oh, if he's fighting, we're all fighting. And there was, and I'll tell you this. And everybody's like, I'm sure I'm going to get all this. Well, you know, that wasn't a fair fight. And this and that. There's never considered a fair fight.
No.
Never. Like, if your buddy's fighting and it's just one-on-one, oh, I'm clipping his ass from the back. Period. Like, there's never going to be a fair fight. Because I've been in those situations where I thought it was one-on-one and his buddies entered. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just a part of it. And I'm the same way as you. I don't condone fighting. I hate it, man. I think it's like so beneath us as far as actually getting into fist fights outside of having conversations just to get through shit. But it is a part of things that do happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's the scenario you find yourself. Where are you hanging out? That's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So
if you're not putting yourself in those scenarios.
So are we going to go down this? Is this our topic
No,
today?
Honestly, I got another 30 minutes in me on this.
I will say, I had been known to get a hold of a couple of breakdance battles.
Did you get down with it, man? Did you bring your own cardboard?
Hey, for those that don't know, like you gotten to know Ben, and he's very regimented. He's very like focused on like this. You get this dude on the dance floor. I didn't even recognize you. I had no idea that you had that in you.
Let's tell our listeners, if you want to think of, what's the guy's name? Stomp the Yard. The white dude. What's his name? Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I would.
That's good. Don't go that damn far. Hey, come on, man. Stop.
You're telling me you didn't see him at the retreat?
I saw him at the retreat.
Do the knee spin and hat flip thing that Channing Tatum does? He did the exact. He practices.
I modeled my dance game quite a bit after Channing Tatum.
Hey, but back to the fighting thing. Thank you for the comic relief. There is I would say that 90. I've never instigated a fight, not a single one of them. Now, most fights that I got into was because I was trying to intervene and try to like break it up, pull people away, and got clipped, and then everything went red, right? And that's kind of typically how they went. But it was always out of a place of defense, right? Because either, look, hey, this dude can't handle himself. I got to get him out. It's like
you ain't got to explain.
No, but I'm serious because I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell it. No, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not saying it's
you instigated.
I'm not saying it's here. I'm saying I didn't instigate him. I finished him, but I didn't instigate him. So two stories, and I'm not going to tell both of them because they're both long. But one, literally, my buddy and I were driving home, and this was when Orange County was really big. The OC, remember the OC?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it was massive.
I knew a girl that was in one of the episodes. There you go.
Humble brag.
Darren was dropping names.
We go to the grocery store. We go to the grocery store, and we're coming back, and we lived in a house. This is when I was at Fresno State. We lived in this house, and this is how big it was. We had like 20 football players that came to the house to watch the OC every week. We had a watch party.
Central.
100%. If anybody out there that is my age said that they didn't, you are a liar.
Hold on, Tyler. I know you're on a roll.
Stop it.
Darren, first reaction to 20 football players. Was there a brother in that crowd?
Fuck no.
Yes, it was.
No, one brother walked in the OC.
Hey, yes, there was.
20 others.
Hey, Trevor Chambly, straight out of Jamaica, Queens, 100%. He's way harder than the mean streets of Phoenix. He lives across a bridge, cuz.
I just imagine a lot of spiked hair, a lot of hella being dropped.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Cargo shorts to the nines.
Hey, but the OC fan club, they've been punched in the face, and they've punched somebody in the face.
That's true. I've got zero grounds to speak of here.
So we're headed home. We're headed home to this.
Are you questioning your life choices? You were on top of the world at one point. Now you're hanging out with me, who's never been in a fight, and Tyler, who had spiked hair and watched the OC.
Oh my God!
Hey,
this is good, man.
Guys.
This is really good.
We just watched a clip off air about. Hey, be curious. Don't be judgmental, guys.
Yeah.
Be curious. Understand why this was important to us.
I've cut you off enough.
It was a time of camaraderie. It was a time to watch Rachel Bilson just looking awesome on camera. But we're on our way home, and like we're cutting it closer. We were like, okay, hey, let's go. Well, we stop at a stop sign, and this car like slams its brakes on. We're like, okay, whatever. And then it like kind of just creeps out into the intersection. And so we're like, this is weird, whatever. And then it went from a single lane to a 2-lane road. So they get across the intersection, and we just pass them. It wasn't like we honked or we sped past them. We didn't do anything. We literally just passed them. And then we get up to the light, and we're about, I don't know, a quarter of the mile away from our house. And this car, which we didn't see, comes up as we're at the stoplight and literally like comes at like 60 miles an hour, locks up the brakes, gets sideways, and a dude jumps out of the car immediately. So these dudes were looking to fight.
Yeah, they're looking for somebody.
And it was a Mitsubishi Galant. I still remember it. It was a gray Mitsubishi. Dude. This dude jumps out. My buddy, he just like, his window's down. He looks out. This dude runs up and starts punching him through the window, knocks him out. Like, what? Knocks him out. Literally his head bounced off of the center console. So I'm just like, what is going on? And I'm in like football shorts, flip-flops, and a hoodie. And I get out of the car, I kick the flip-flops off, and
yeah.
because I'm running around,
my
right?
puka shell necklace off.
Oh, for sure. My visor, I turned it around backwards. And so, anyways, point is like 6 dudes roll out of this Mitsubishi Galant, which is no more than a 4-seater. No more.
Yeah, right.
6 dudes
Makes you
pile
wonder
out
where
of
they're
this,
sitting.
and the only other guy there is passed out.
Yeah, he's asleep.
He's asleep, and I square up with a guy, and as I'm ready to square up with him, some dude comes around from the backside, like you said. There's no fair fight, right?
Yeah.
Catches me from the side, so I fall down, blows my lip up. Literally it ended up taking like 12 stitches, but blows my lip up. And so anyway, so now I'm fighting these 6 guys by myself. I climb on top of one. Anyways, end up, these dudes stop it. They're like, okay, we're good. Because my buddy wakes up and he blasted. This was the best part. So I'm on top of one guy, and I'm hammer fisting this guy on the ground, but a dude's kicking me while I'm on top of him. And I look up and I'm covering my head with one hand, and I'm hammer fisting the dude, and I see his feet, and then I don't see his feet. My buddy's a left tackle. He's 320 pounds, right? And so literally he catches this dude and takes him, like, talk about a hay shot in football.
He's the one that got knocked out?
He's the one that got knocked out. Came back to, wakes up, comes back, and then I don't see feet. And he's gone because he just lifts him and knocks the dude out. The dude was completely out cold. And so, anyways, wake up. The dudes are like, okay, we're good. We're sorry. 2 dudes. One of them passed out half of the time, and these 6 guys. But point is that wasn't instigated, but I had to be ready to react. So if you are in a situation where there's somebody just acting crazy and your family needs to be defended, what do you do?
Yeah, that's what you do.
What do you do?
Hey.
I mean, are you going to break dance fight?
Yeah, exactly.
I might bring out a windmill or something.
Just my kung fu that I've been working on at home.
Guys, I've been waiting this moment my whole life.
Oh man, but
See, what scares me about that scenario, and I get it, you were self-defense, but say your left tackle or whoever knocks this dude out, the dude ends up dying, or now you're talking legal issues, and
it would have been.
You're not.
There's witnesses.
I'm not meant to go to jail.
People were pulling up and
That's just
parking.
not me.
It was 100%
Maybe
self-defense, right? It was. And we even, because one of the things at Fresno State is our coach was always preaching, like, look, if you are in a bad situation, be the first one to call the police and report it.
Right.
Whether you may be at fault or not. So we get to the hospital because my buddy is, I mean, from when he got hit, he was messed up. And my lip was busted open. And so we called the police right away and we're like, hey, look, we gotta report this. We gotta be in front of it. We're, Fresno State football at the time really is the biggest thing in Fresno. So it was like, okay, if this gets out, if we did hurt, because they dragged 2 guys into the car that couldn't walk from it. And so they dragged them in and we're like, okay, if something goes bad, we need to make sure our story gets heard first.
Right. Right.
And so to your point is, like there's legal issues, there's all that, but like in the moment it's fight or flight.
And that's surprising to hear about your situation. Like
that's true. I guess luck has been on my side quite a bit.
Most of the time you're not looking for it.
No.
Sometimes it's just circumstances. And for it never to happen to you, like you said, you've never been threatened in a situation where this is something like this is gone awry, being out of
I just didn't hang out in areas that
you don't put yourselves.
Like this. Like he was just driving down the street. I don't know how many times
trying to get home to watch
I'm
the
also
OC.
not from Fresno, California, so
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Abilene is not like, I mean,
hey,
come on.
What are you saying about Abilene?
I mean, we make jokes out it's all country and all, but it ain't country. It's not.
No, Joe, you're right. There could have been opportunity. I did get lucky in that scenario. But I'm guessing whoever was driving, I'm guessing they were doing something. Those guys didn't just randomly.
100%, and I will 100% say that it was a group of guys that were looking to cause trouble. Yeah. Like that was it. And the fact that we passed them, and again, like I said, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like that was just like, and they saw 2 younger guys. Right. We 100% got picked out. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem is there were some Hispanic guys, and in Fresno, there's the Bulldog Gang, and there's all these initiations that they always do, right? So there's certain things that these gangs will have to do. So it could have been gang affiliated. I don't know. We didn't get to know the guys well enough. But that's ultimately we didn't sit down. We didn't sit down over a kombucha and talk about it. But I mean, I think the biggest thing and the question I have is, how do you guys react if there is a situation that you're not necessarily a part of, right? But there's a situation that calls for someone to react. Are you the person that stays back? And this isn't like saying, hey, you're soft.
Right.
Or are you a person that if there's chaos, your reaction is to go towards it?
Yeah.
Because I think that there's two different people.
Before we get there, before we answer that question, you know a place where you don't get into fights?
Where is that?
Because there's tons of security. It's a great place. Why would you want to fight when you're in the happiest place on earth?
Right.
I'm talking about Choctaw Casino and Resort. Just an hour drive north in Dallas-Fort Worth if you're up there. In the month of September, they are giving away $1.2 million every single – well, I guess for the whole month they're giving away $1.2. But each Saturday you have the opportunity to win $1.2 million playing with your rewards card. Also, this Friday – when's the 24th? Is that this Friday? Whatever it is. Whatever the 24th is.
Yeah.
They've got Vince Neil of Motley Crue and special guest Steven Adler of Guns N' Roses playing on the 24th.
Yeah.
I know you two are big Guns N' Roses fans.
Guns N' Roses, hey, those are the
like
days.
highlight tapes galore
Oh,
for
absolutely.
those two. Yeah.
Absolutely. So they're playing on the 24th and the 25th. Tyler, I know you feel me on this one. Sam Hunt. Darren, have you ever heard of Sam Hunt?
No, but I'm interested.
He's one of the most popular country singers out there right now. I know you don't listen to a lot of country.
Especially with the female demographic.
Former football player.
Yeah, former quarterback at Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah. So he's playing. He's huge in the country game. So he's playing on the 25th. So
Let's be clear.
Go
pop,
up there.
Let's be clear. Pop country.
Pop country.
That's another debate that we can have. You're exactly right, Tyler.
I'd like to understand that.
Because he doesn't. There's not a cowboy boot or cowboy hat in sight with him. It's all like rhinestones and
I would
slit jeans.
He's more of like if you were to think LA, like that's you would put
there
him.
You go.
So he's got like sneakers, skinny jeans, backwards hat, and usually wears like a cutoff shirt.
Very much like your wardrobe, Tyler.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But you wear the boots, so you got the boots on.
So anyway, go check them out. Thank you, Choctaw Casino, as always, for supporting us.
Yeah.
So you guys go up there and get involved at Choctaw. But your question, maybe repeat your question.
Yeah. So the question is if there is chaos going on, are you the type that, and I won't even say avoids it. Are you the type that freezes or reacts towards it?
Yeah. That's
and you don't have to be one or the other. Like you can be both, because I've got a buddy that like if a kid falls down, he's the guy that reacts and will catch that kid before they hit the ground. Like he just has something, and if there's any sort of like event or chaos or anything, like he's like in it right away. And Tiffany actually is a lot like that too. So if there's like, a kid falls into a pool, I've never seen her ever move that fast, but if it calls for her to go intercede, she does. I'm a little bit more in the middle where I'm someone that like, okay, I've got to decide, okay, hey, does it need me to intervene here, or should I just watch? And I'm kind of in that middle a little bit. But what are you guys when it comes to situations that are out of your control, but you can actually impact the overall outcome?
That's a good question.
Look, I think it's what's gotten me in trouble most of my life is the fact that I'm reacting really quickly. Really quickly. Like if there is something that's going down and it involves family or friends or whatnot, it's an immediate. And I've always been taught and always sort of felt like if you hesitate in those type of situations, then you're at a firm disadvantage.
Yeah.
A firm disadvantage. If you got to sit back and process things and go, oh my God, if it's already there, and we're saying it's already going there, right? And there's been a reaction, there's been a conflict. If you sit back and you hesitate, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a huge, because I think you put yourself back. You're not playing offense now. You're playing defense. Yeah. And I'd rather play offense than play defense. So, in that certain situation. But there's been situations where things are going there, and I don't feel like I'm more of a processor then. Like if there's going back and forth, it's like, hey man, this ain't that big of a deal. Like let's, because I don't want
the build up.
I've never been that type of person, and most of my friends have never been. Well, I'll take that back. I got one buddy who's looking for every fight that he can ever
I knew some
have.
folks like that.
Right. So, but most of the time it's just been like, hey man, we just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And just so I think there's two parts to that.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I think because I do always actually imagine, what if I was in active shooter situation.
Yeah.
Or, something like that. Life
You're in
or
a
death.
store and there's a robbery. Or
Right.
something
I
like
do
that.
always wonder how I would react. I'm afraid I would react in the way of flight as
Hell
opposed to
yes.
fight.
Yes.
You see some of those people, they're just naturally like they're taking the guy down, or I don't think I've done anything in my past that warrants me thinking that I would take the guy down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't think of any scenario that I've actually been in that's been, obviously not to that degree, but even, again, as I said earlier, even an escalation to a fight, I can't think of many, if any, situations where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably say I'm more of a processor in that scenario. But then it depends. If it's kids or I think I'm going to react.
And see, I think it's like
It probably depends on the scenario.
There's so many scenarios. Like you just said it, an active shooter, or I've been in situations where a gun was involved, and guess who was the first? My reaction was, Save yourself. Everyone. I'm not trying to be the hero.
Yeah.
I ran as fast as
Here's a real life scenario. So 9/11, we just had the 20-year anniversary.
Yes.
You saw, if you watched, I rewatched documentaries and things all weekend.
Did you
Fireman?
Did you watch the new one on
the
Netflix?
Discovery. No, I watched one on Discovery.
The one on Netflix is awesome.
I'll check that out.
Hearing about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
But what struck me is obviously the firefighters were running in the buildings and saving people. That's part of their job. It takes a special person to sign up for that.
Yes, absolutely.
But what was even crazier to me was the civilians that were running back in, knowing, hey, this could be it for me. And they were saving. I think there's one guy that saved over like 20 people they were talking about.
The red bandana, right?
Yeah. And he just completely disregarded everything about personal safety. He said, I'm going to go back in that. So that's what I think about. If I was in that scenario, would I be one of the ones taking off and running?
Man.
Totally justified,
Yeah.
by the way. But that's your mentality, is save myself.
Yeah. That's the
Whereas
true
some
heroes,
people
man.
react and they think, okay, I'm good, but there's other people that aren't, and maybe they can't get out. Nobody else is going to step up. I need to be the one to step in there and do that.
I think
so. What are you doing in your life? I think this conversation is leading into what things are you doing in your daily life to build that muscle? Not the literal muscle, but are you doing, like Darren, you just picked up jujitsu? Like, are you doing self-defense? Are you actively thinking and being proactive, at least mental reps? If this one goes down, how will I react? Honestly, I don't think about those scenarios very often because I've never been faced with those.
Yeah.
But I think as time goes on, we see contentious things in the news. Again, maybe it's exactly how it's always been. We're just more exposed to it. So maybe the instances aren't higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like the instances are higher. The chances are better to get into an altercation like this. So what are we doing in our daily life as men to be prepared for this, right? Because I guess my mind goes to the men are protectors, and I get it. That's a sexist thing to think in 2021. I get it. But as a man, as a leader of your house, as a leader of yourself.
That's what I teach my boys.
What are you doing? Right. What are you doing to prepare yourself for that moment?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know if you can you?
Well, I think
literally, can you?
I think jiu-jitsu is a great first step.
Yeah, but no,
because
I'm saying like I think it's either you're built that way or you're not built that way, or you're trained to a certain extent to be.
I think you're
that
built
person.
with tendencies.
Yeah,
but I think anybody could learn this.
Yeah, but I don't know I don't know what my reaction would be in certain scenarios. I'm a lot like you. Active shooter, as like the young man that's the red bandana that ran up. I don't know. Like, I'm looking at I don't know if there's enough training on my side, unless I was someone who's had some military training or some type of CPR training, and that's what a first responder training that would allow me to have, even as a civilian, to say, okay, I'll go do that.
To your point, though, is you talk about the training. What does training lead to? Training leads to confidence.
Yes.
Right. And so to your point is what are you doing to build that confidence to say, hey, I can make a legitimate impact in whatever scenario you can paint right now, right? Are you physically fit, right? Are you physically capable of helping other people? Because not everybody is.
That's right.
I mean, think about if you're not in the greatest shape, are you able to walk up 30 flights of stairs to help people?
Right.
No. I mean, and that's just, so one is, are you physically able to do it? Are you confident enough to say, hey, my body is going to hold up in a high adrenaline, high high emotional situation. And I think that's one. And then two is I think just running through scenarios. And you mentioned, okay, look, worst case scenario. Like we've got a lot of things in the country. I think the doomsday preppers are probably at an all-time high right now in the country, just because people are like, what happens? What happens if it hits the fan? What happens if China decides to call on our debt and invade? What if Russia has been planning something? What if what if? But like, if you're running through scenarios, what am I going to do? If you haven't thought through scenarios and it's a completely abstract thought, you're just going to be like, whoa. Yeah. And then you freeze. Yeah. But if you've at least thought through it, prepared, it's like in your family. If you've got kids, you've got to have a fire plan. Mm-hmm. You've got to talk through it. You've got to say, hey, if there's a fire in the house, here is what we are doing. Here is what you are doing. Because in the case of it, if you don't know and you haven't prepared to run through the scenario, your children can't process in the moment what's the best thing to do.
Yes, similar to how schools handle things.
And so I think what you're talking about is, what are you doing every day? Is I think you've got to build the confidence. You've got to build the confidence to say, hey, look, in a dangerous situation or scenario or life-threatening or pivotal moment, am I confident to take the steps necessary to save myself, to save my family, to save my loved ones?
I think that part of the conversation being is, as civilians, just regular civilians, like what we do every day. Just think about our lives every day. We leave our families at home. We go to the office, right? And then we come home at night. Where are we preparing ourselves to do that? Like, most of our time is spent on trying to elevate our businesses, right? Whatever it may be. The thoughts aren't there. I mean, unless I'm doing something on the weekends that's getting me to that point.
100%.
I'll just say it, man. I'm 100% vulnerable because I don't have that training, nor is my mind going that way in that direction. So I don't know what my reaction would be if something took place that was a burning building or an active shooter. I don't know because I don't have that formal training.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we all have control over is what you were saying earlier, Ty, is your physical capability. Yeah.
But there's
maybe you're not going to train, gun shooting and jiu-jitsu, but at the very least you're getting to the gym 3-4 days a week and you're taking care of your physically
That's fine.
fit body.
You can be as physically fit as you want to, but there's a certain thing within the mind that has to trigger to take you there.
I get it, but would you say that a physically fit person has more of a chance?
Oh, it has more of a chance, but
than an unfit person.
But a physically fit person doesn't say, okay, like how many physically fit people have you said, looked at and said, damn, looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane.
Yeah,
can't get through themselves, right? And I get it. You have to be physically fit to actually take the action on, right? But it's a mental thing. It's mentally. There's got to be a trigger mentally that says, no matter if you're in shape or not, that says, okay, I'm going to react and I'm going to take on.
No, I agree with you. I agree. So I guess my question to you would be, is the person who hasn't taken the time to make themselves physically fit, are they likely to do the work for the other scenario?
That's a good argument. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
If you can't even take care of your physical body, what's the likelihood that you're going to go out and you're going to think, how can I approach an active shooter?
Mentally, you haven't stressed yourself enough in any situations.
And I'm not saying these are mutually exclusive. I'm not saying you have to be physically fit to save people. I'm not saying that. But I would say if you've taken the time to care about your body and become fit, you're more apt to think, okay, now what's the next thing I can conquer?
It goes back to the comfort crisis, right? If you are not used to being in uncomfortable positions and situations that you are putting yourself into, then
great point.
In a uncomfortable situation that we're discussing right now, it's going to feel you're not used to being in that space. So whether it's being physically active, whether it's mentally preparing, whether it's skills training, whatever it may be, if you're not used to being in an uncomfortable situation, you are just not going to react the same way as somebody that is used to being uncomfortable. And that's it. So whatever it is, if it's as simple as, hey, look, I am used to being hungry. And being hungry is not foreign to me because I force myself to feel that feeling and embrace it. Okay, so something happens with the food supply in the United States and now people are losing their minds because they're not used to being hungry. It's the first time in 100 years that people in the United States have been hungry. Then are you going to be able to react well in that situation or not because you're not conditioned to it? Is it, hey, I've got to now take my family because all the gas stations are shut down because the Middle East has shut off oil supply to us and we're holding on to our reserve, and I've got to walk somewhere to get to where I need to go. Am I used to that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever the scenario
that's so true.
is.
Like even in jiu-jitsu, and again, I've only had, 2 lessons. And the first part of it is, and you know this, Tyler, because you used to wrestle, is getting comfortable with someone with distance and that close to you and being smothered. If you're someone that's not used to being in tight situations, jiu-jitsu is not for you. And that's me.
Yeah.
I have to get over the fear of being in tight, uncomfortable, getting smothered. Yeah. And now the ones that are really good are the ones who they find a way to control their breathing. Yeah. They're used to being in those uncomfortable positions, and now they can see through the chaos. Yeah.
Hey guys, hope you are enjoying this roundtable episode. Wanted to take a quick second to thank our sponsor, Sleep Number. We announced this a few days ago. We are super excited to announce our partnership with Sleep Number. That's right. The official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys is now the official sleep and wellness partner of the Darren Woodson Show. Look, we all know it's no secret. Sleep is essential to good health. And part of getting good sleep is making sure that you have a great mattress. So go check out sleepnumber.com. Look at their Sleep Number 360 smart beds with Sleep IQ technology. More to come on this. We actually got to go to one of the local DFW Sleep Number stores and run through all of their beds and do a personalized, customized mattress fitting, if you will. And it was an awesome experience. Nothing but great things to say about Sleep Number. We are super excited about this partnership. Like I said, go visit sleepnumber.com. Check out their mattresses. Go to a store wherever you are near you and check them out. Now back to the episode. Yeah, the thought I had the other day was, what if they, for whatever reason, fast food restaurants and restaurants in general were no longer an option? What percentage of people would be okay with starting to and be able to take care of themselves and make their own food? Like even something like that.
I mean, I could tell you
a lot of us have gotten so reliant on restaurants and going out to eat and have somebody else. Now I get it. You're going to adjust. We would all adjust. But even something like that, I think is important, is a skill to develop, is being able to cook your own food is a basic survival instinct that I think that we've lost a little bit of because we've been so reliant on just running through the fast food. Right? Darren, not to pick on you, but how many nights a week do y'all eat out? Maybe zero. I have no idea.
Twice a week.
Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty low, I would say, on average.
But you know what? I'll take that back. But we had to go through the uncomfortable of COVID. We had to go through the uncomfortable of the storms that hit here, and we lost power and all that. Yeah. We had to go through so many of those events to figure out, okay, we need to start buying Costco meat.
Yeah. But the good thing about
hold on to
But the good thing about restaurants, COVID, like fast food restaurants just shifted to drive-thru, so you could still eat. Yeah. But what if that whole food supply had been cut off? What would we have done?
Yeah.
Right? Do you have the skills to be able to prepare your own meals? Now, I'm not one that I can go out and hunt and kill my own food, but I at least have enough skill to go and cook my own food. So maybe that's the next progression for me personally is, if shit hit the fan,
that's our next.
Am I able to go be a hunter and gather my own food or fish? Even if I was out in the wild and had to survive, I don't know. These are just. Hopefully, we never have to call on these skills, but they're great skills to have because we've built our culture, thankfully, in some ways, and unthankfully in others. We've built it in a way that we can be very comfortable.
You know what?
And everything can just be given to us.
I'm going to tell you about an ego check that I had one day. My pride was lit in my ass one day. My wife said to me, she said, if something ever went down, if anything ever went down, I would make sure that I'm next to my dad. And I'm sitting there and I said, what are you talking about?
Ouch.
I only laugh because I'm the same as you.
Yeah. I said, what? It hurt, man. Yeah. Like, this is the love of my life saying, not you, my dad, because you can't protect me, right? And I was thinking, I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, she said, look, My dad can kill his own food. He can cook his own food. He knows how to fix every damn thing in the house.
Yeah.
He knows everything about a car. He knows a little bit about everything, and he takes the time to know those things, right? And I'm sitting there like, well, shit, I don't know nothing about killing anything. Like ants and bugs.
Squish. Protein.
Know nothing about guns. Know nothing about.
I'm with you.
I mean, I felt vulnerable, man,
Yeah.
and it took. Actually, we had that conversation during COVID, but it took us going through the storms here in Dallas for me to take the onus of knowing, like, where are the plumbing lines at in my house? What happens? You know, I have been more proactive in learning new things. So that's why I say to you, for both of us, we need to go with you.
I was going to say, my wife didn't say her dad. My wife said Tyler. I'm going to go hang out with Tyler. No, but in all seriousness, I'm with you. It's because we've created a lifestyle that doesn't call on those skills.
Yeah. True.
And again, that's a great thing. It's a good thing we're not being chased by wild animals anymore. That's a great thing. But it's still good to have those skills.
Yes.
Right? You still don't want to be reliant on everything. Because again, when the supply chain issues we have right now, I mean, wings of all things was something that's being inflated. The price of wings, we have a wing shortage, right? So if I'm super
like
reliant, chicken wings. The Wingstop had to rely on. Did y'all not see this? No. Wingstop, it was either a few of the restaurants or something, they had to switch to thighs, which I don't know why thigh meat is more.
Yeah, I see that. I see that in the restaurants.
But isn't there the same amount of wings as there is thighs?
That's what you would think so, right? But apparently there was a wing shordage. So my point is the supply chain gets all screwed up with COVID, and all these things get messed up. Now I'm 100% reliant on everybody else for everything in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to start getting a little bit more self-reliant. Because I'm with you, Darren. Like when that freeze hit, I didn't know where the water switch was. I didn't know any of that. I don't know how to fix stuff around the house. And the great thing is, with YouTube, you can learn
right there.
anything.
Yes.
Literally. We have every single resource on our phones if we just want to take the time to do it. But Darren, I'm speaking for you and I, most of our daily, we just set ourselves up. We don't have to worry about that.
We don't take the time to do so.
It's the intentionality.
When I think of my priorities, it's not a top priority because I just keep thinking with this mentality that, it's going to be fine.
But most of the time it takes people, like it takes people like you and I to understand, like, damn, I'm lacking in this area, right? So what do you do in those situations? You find people, you either find YouTube or you find your resources. And that's a lot of things. A lot of the times we don't take the time and we can't set our pride aside enough to say, hey, I need to call Tyler. And Tyler will show me how to go buy or purchase this gun.
You don't even have to call Tyler. That's what I'm saying. You could go on YouTube, how to fix a water line.
But your resources are right there. I'm saying, it's easy for us to look at it on YouTube, but it's also easy to just ask a
Tyler, where did you learn all your skills, Tyler?
Well, so I watched my dad. My dad was not a hunter. Like the gun thing is something that I picked up recently. So you can learn it later in life. Yeah. Like that's not something that, you have to have been born into that and bred into you. But it's like, again, YouTube, like building things. Like that was when I retired. I mean, I watched my dad growing up, so I always helped him and I always wanted to help him with projects. But like, man, I didn't have the tools and I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the knowledge and I didn't have the commitment to be uncomfortable and struggle through it. Right. And because it takes that to learn it. And that's the point is that, look, to sit and struggle through fixing your washer if you don't understand plumbing, right? To change the hot water line or this, and you don't know what's going on and you're frustrated because you're not doing it right and you've never done it before. That's uncomfortable. So what do? We avoid it and we call a plumber and he'll come out and fix it. Or, hey, my refrigerator went out. Hey, I've got the condenser in the back that I've got to fix, right? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to call an electrician or I'm going to call an appliance repair shop. They're going to come fix it because we just don't like that uncomfort. And you guys, I'm the same way as you guys in so many areas of life. Like there's certain things that I've just gravitated towards, but we have everything at our fingertips. Everything is easy. Everything can be ordered. Everything is there. So as a culture, we are just, look, without saying, hey, we're soft, because I don't want to like jump into that cliche deal, but we are so accustomed to just having things done for us. We don't have the knowledge and ability to take care of ourselves. And that's scary. That's really scary. If I am an enemy of the United States, I'm looking at that and I'm like, y'all, if we disrupt them and here, these two areas, we could take down the entire country because it's literally going to tear itself apart.
I mean, yeah, cyber. I mean, that's literally
and it's scary. But it's being uncomfortable, getting into asking for help. It's uncomfortable asking people for help because then it's admitting, hey, man, I don't know it, and I'm not what I portray that I am, or hey, struggling through something, or physically struggling through something. It's again the second it gets hard as a culture, we push away. So, I mean, my thoughts on this is just like, look, don't shy away from things that are hard. Don't shy away from things that are new. Don't shy away from things that may be uncomfortable, or don't shy away from things that maybe culturally is frowned upon.
Right.
But if it ultimately can help you and your family in a very tough situation, lean into it. Lean into it and expose yourself so that you're well-rounded enough. So if something does go down, you're at least okay.
Yeah. I mean, pain is a great motivator, and maybe not literal physical pain, but the pain of not knowing something, it's gonna catch up with you at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think to your point, Tyler, is being prepared, having a contingency plan for these.
Yeah.
And this is just a personal challenge for me, is just, again, hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but why not be prepared just in case it does?
Yeah. Right.
You know, why not start to learn a couple of those skills now? Hopefully you don't have to use them, but why not start to learn those things?
But guess
what? Because the
They're
confidence you get from, being physically fit, learning self-defense, the confidence you get can pour over into
other
things. Yeah.
Shoot, I just learned, 6 months. I had no idea what jiu-jitsu was, but I learned 6 months ago. Maybe now I can learn how to build this piece of furniture or fix this water line. Yep. I didn't know how to do it before, but now I can do it now.
Yeah, right. And it spills over into other areas of life. Like, I'm not saying, hey, look, you need to prepare for China to invade the United States. You need to get your mind right. That's not what I'm saying. Like, but okay, whether you pick up hunting or whether you just go to a shooting range and you shoot, like, those skills translate and pour over into other areas. If it's getting physically fit, going on a ruck, right? Doing things that, like, hey, I'm loading up a bag with gear and I'm going for a walk. Like, you're preparing, that spills out into other areas of your life and benefit you in other areas. So why not venture outside of that comfort zone that we've created for ourselves and expose yourself, learn new things, and condition yourself to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we haven't really talked about this, but think about even like another ancillary benefit. Think about the money you can save if you learn some of these skills. Like, I think of like my car, for instance. If I have a car issue, I have zero idea.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it. I can change the tire. Thankfully, I can do that.
Tire.
Thankfully, I can
I just taught my daughter how to change a tire.
There you go.
Recently,
Unfortunately, I've had to do that too many times, so I do know how to do that. But if anything engine-wise happens, I've got to take it to a mechanic, and now I'm at their mercy.
Whatever they say,
I have to do because I know nothing about. Now, I get it. Your time is best spent. You got to determine where your time is best spent. Even something simple like mowing your own yard. Yeah. For me, I so understand now as I get older how nice it would be to just pay somebody to come mow my grass. Sure. But I think that's something I'm going to continue doing myself, just basic skill. Number one, it saves me money. Number two, but teaching my kids and letting them see me actually do manual labor. Darren, I know you haven't picked up.
I know you do. You're on your tractor.
But think about that. Darren, think about how much.
Thing in the week.
And again, I'm picking on you. Think about how much money you spend just on lawn maintenance at your house. If there's some little skills that you can pick up. But again, and
how much you pay some other man to put hands on your Zoysia.
On my Zoysia. She puts hands on my Zoysia.
Trim your bushes.
Trim my bushes. Where are we going?
I feel like this is a conversation for a new sponsorship opportunity.
Manscaped, we're on the market. But I do get the argument of, well, my time is better spent. I understand that. I'm not saying that. But do think about all these skills that if you had yourself, I mean, it's a money saver.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of money you could put back in your pocket if that's something that. So again, we think of inflation, we think of prices rising, everything's getting more expensive. Maybe we do need to start learning some of these skills on our own so we don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's good.
Love the topic, man.
Love how we started with fights.
We started, and then we got into it.
This is one of those, honestly, let's peel back the curtain. This is not where we were going.
No. We had another topic dialed in.
That conversation
but it's
just
good
took
because men, and again, I'm going to be sexist, and people are probably screaming in their headphones right now. these are the discussions men need to be having.
Yeah.
Men and women. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Men and women need to be having.
Human beings need to be having these
'Cause
discussions. How can we be more prepared as a human being?
I think about it, right? Like, let's just say something really bad happens, right? And I'll just use my family as an example. And we live way out in the country, like way out. Like, we're 20 miles to the closest grocery store, right? What happens if something happens to me in the midst of something, a national event?
Right.
How is Tiffany going to take care of our kids?
That's a great point.
So are you going to prepare
them,
the leaders of the family, husband, wife, whoever the dynamic is? The other is, do you want them to be exposed and not know what to do because they're so reliant? I mean, think about how many stories of spouses. One of them passes away, and the other one, the one that passes away, took care of all the bills, took care of all the accounting, and the other one has no idea how to do anything. And that happens all the time.
Dude,
all the time.
You just punched me in the face right there verbally, because that's such a good point. And Jocko talks about it all the time. What's one of the keys to leadership is decentralized command.
Yeah.
And what he means by that is, if I, as the man of the house, think that it's all on me to take care of all of this, and I don't take the time to, with my wife together, we figure this out together. What does happen if something happens to me? Then she's up a creek, right? So decentralized command says, hey, I'm not the only one that's responsible for this.
That's right.
We can work this together.
This is running a business the same way.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way.
That's right.
Thank you, Tyler, for calling me out there.
Interesting thought.
And Darren, you too.
Whitney called me on my way here and said, "Hey, you need to bring this up."
By the way,
start with a fight, and then talk about shooting, and then talk about
your wife calling
Ty in there, and then I need you to call Ben out.
Speaking of punching my best friend in the face, before I left the house, Whitney got a text message on her own from Darren when I left the house.
Yeah, I did.
A private text. That wasn't a group text message. No. It was a direct text message to my wife.
Yeah.
What's my wife's number doing in your phone?
She called Ty earlier. So it's okay for her to call Ty and say, like, I want to be close to Ty. Some shit go down.
I
can't reach out.
Darren, texts, they stay, right? Phone conversations, he doesn't know what was said.
Should have called Whip. You listening,
Texting
girl?
Right. I knew I should have spent more time fighting and not breakdance battling. All right, y'all. We appreciate you. Darren, where can people find us?
With the Darren Woodson Show on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter at mydarrenwoodson28. You can actually, you know what? Have we built on this now?
No, I don't open Twitter. Literally, the only thing we're on as a show is YouTube and Instagram.
YouTube and what's our YouTube?
The Darren Woodson Show.
The Darren Woodson Show. There we go.
Follow, comment, give us some activity. Hey, actually, on this topic today, two questions. Is one, what type of person are you in the midst of chaos? Do you run towards it or do you shy away from it? Let us know. We want to hear. And then two, are you prepared to be uncomfortable? Are you? And if what's one area that you feel like you can improve in preparing yourself for the unknown?
Is everything an answer?
Everything. Yes, it is.
I do to improve on everything.
Let us know.
Yeah.
And tell you what,
I love that.
And based off of our feedback, we'll go find someone really interesting that can help in those areas.
Yeah. Donnie Vincent comes to mind.
Donnie Vincent.
Come on back.
Absolutely. That's who first person I thought about was Donnie Vincent.
Yeah. If shit hits the fan, I'm going wherever he lives.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.